everyone, I am Dilega Manoharan, the moderator of today's event. First of all, welcome, selamat datang, and welcome to our monthly Buncee webinar. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you educators and students to greet this great session on behalf of our team member and our CEO from Inspire Malaysia, Mr. Ruben Arumugam. Well, I would like to introduce our speaker of today's session, Cheng Chun Yi alias Sumiko from UOW Malaysia KDU Penang University College. Here, I would like to give to
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi everyone. I'm Sumiko from UOW Malaysia KDU Penang University College. I would like to share a little bit more about Buncee together with all of you. So thank you to join us today. Yeah, let's start now. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so I would like to share a little bit more about Buncee. So for Buncee, a lot of people might have some idea what Buncee about. Buncee is actually a platform for people to create anything, anytime, and everywhere. So this is actually about Buncee. I would like to share a little bit more about introductions, introduce a little bit about the functions, the ideas, how we're going to set up our Buncee. So for this, Buncee, you can actually go to sharing your knowledge, sharing whatever you know with a lot of different educators from different worldwide. So from here, let us explore together how to create Buncee creatively and different and unique. So I would like to share what is Buncee. So Buncee is actually you can use it to create something special, then unique with your own style. And somehow you are able to engage with different people, different educators, even students from different world, country, state, and etc. So this is actually the web page of Buncee, or you can go to here. You just go to app.edu.buncee.com/login. Then you can select either you sign in with Google, or you sign in with Microsoft, or even you sign in with Apple. So you can use either one. And if you are the one that having a school account, you will find out that your school account will have, for example, uowmkdupg.edu.buncee.com. So it actually depends on your school institution as well. So this, of course, you need to collaborate together with the Buncee team, and they're going to set up for you. Then, of course, after this, after you sign up, either with using Google, Microsoft, or Apple, you are going to go to this page. Yeah, you're going to go to this homepage, and you're going to see a lot of different Buncee canvas that you have. You can create canvas by yourself. So let's move on. So next will be this all is all the Buncee, the canvas collection is actually all in one creation tools. So you can create under this Buncee's homepage. Then next will be in this Buncee, they actually having graphic and some more media options. Yeah, this, the one that I shared it with you, is actually graphic and media option. And this graphic and media option, they actually have different color code, which will help you to visually engaging the content with Buncee. So let's move on. So next will be yellow color code. We're actually having different color here. We're having yellow, we're having red, blue, purple, green. This all is actually category under graphic and media option. So for yellow color code, you could create by editing text, shapes, drawings, and etc. And for red color code, it actually represent the Buncee graphic. So Buncee graphic, you can using Buncee 3D, then Buncee animation, sticker, and even Buncee message. And you can add in emoji as well. So for blue color code will be, you can add any image from web page or even your 360 degree image. And for green color code will be thing you can access from your device. You can upload pictures, you can upload image, you can upload documents. Then at the same time, you can import URL as well. You can import URL, for example, YouTube's, then and different URL that which support by Buncee. Then next will be you can record video, you can take a photo on the spot in Buncee, and even you can create a response and some more questions, multiple choice. Yeah, so all of this you can just go through, and this Buncee is actually helping students to having engagement, endless possibility, and even students' voice. Let students voice up wherever they want, and this is some of the functions that you can have it. You can file it in Buncee. So you have Buncee animation, Buncee sticker, web image, and emojis. Yeah, nowadays you can download this Buncee emojis emotions from iOS, Apple stores. Then next will be variety of media-rich content. For example, you can create your own digital story. You can have your portfolio at the same time. You can have a creative journalizing. And even you can record your own video and audio, and you can search the video audio from YouTube, from TEDx, and etc. Yeah, so this all you can use it. And next will be even you can actually create a virtuals. You can have a virtual tour. For example, in Malaysia, two of the virtuals that very famous now today is actually from Zoo Negara, Zoo Melaka, and some more Zoo Taiping. Yeah, so sometimes they will go through live, and some more live event. Yeah, they have live event at night safari, and even you can actually upload. Like for example, UOW Malaysia KDU Penang University College, we actually having virtual tour as well. So you can just scan the QR code and you can go through and you can have a look UOW how we actually look like, and this is our bar. Then at the same time, we can create a lot of different visuals, flashcard, motivation quote. You can create by using different flashcard that you like. You can create, like if you are teaching English, you can use the adverb, nouns, verb, adjective, and etc. to show the pictures, to show the flashcard to the students. Then at the same time, you can create a short questions. You can create the short questions and you can ask. You can ask the student or even the educator from outside, from different country, from different world. For example, life is actually too short. Yeah, life is actually too short. If you have to give up one forever, which one you are going to give up? Rice, noodles, bread, burger, bubble milk tea, coffee, milk, or health? I believe a lot of people nowadays, the first priority is actually health. I don't think that people are going to give up health. So that's why among all of this, which one you are going to give up? Then next will be you can actually create a lot of different kind of motivation quote as well. Yeah, to help you to inspire people surrounding you, inspire the students surrounding you, even having a motivation, encouragement for your colleague or even strangers. Then next will be you can create a story about yourself. This is actually a story about Sumiko. I'm going to show you later. So let me go through this. Then and you can create something. Nowadays, most of the people is actually staying at home, and because of we have to spend most of our time at home, and one of the best way for us to actually keep us relaxed is actually try to look at the green, look at the try to plant, try to have our gardening practice activity at home. Yeah, so this is also one of the way to help us to create awareness about environments and even help us to stay focused, yeah, stay calm, then stay healthy. And at the same time, Buncee will actually provide a lot of different kind of opportunity for you. For example, you can claim the reward. Yeah, you can claim the reward. You can actually collect Buncee badges, Buncee stickers, and etc. So this is actually indirectly, you also can award this to the student as well. It's like how many days you actually created your Buncees, 15 days, 10 days, 5 Buncee created, and etc. Then at the same time, why we need to choose Buncee? Yeah, be the change. Create on Buncee. It's actually about the journey. Yeah, it's actually about the journey, how we survive. Yeah, how we survive and how we are using Buncee tools to help us to engage with our student, especially engagement. Then at the same time, using Buncee is actually provide a platform for us to teach and for us to learn with more fun and some more deeply engaged with the lecturers, with the teacher, with the student as well. And at the same time, easy for us to understand the class content by using pictures, by using image, by using YouTube and different resources we can find it from Buncee. And this also enhance the retention of learned concept. We can learn a lot of different things through Buncee, through the applications that we have. At the same time, this also help to meet the need of diverse learners from different country, from different stage, different world, and etc. So we can collaborate. Yeah, I can collaborate with the people from UK, from New Zealand, from Japan, from Korea, from India, from different country. So that's why collaboration is also one of the good point why we're using Buncee, and even character education, good communication skill using pictures, using image to help us to engage or help us to learn. Even citizens, creative and critical thinking. Yeah, so that can boost up our skills as well by using Buncee. Then at the same time, a lot of people, they might feel that, oh, the education system nowadays is actually unfair for everybody. It's because of they are hoping everybody variety of different kind of size or weight or capability of the animals, they are doing the same thing. So that's why I believe because of this, a lot of people, they are trying to encourage people to using Buncee as well, because it's actually now we're having an unbalanced classroom, so that is scalable but at the same time measurable, but it's unfair education system not really measure their capabilities, their talents, their abilities according to their talents. Yeah, according to the talents, we are not really assessed accordingly. But using Buncee, we actually help us to be engaged, be more creative and visualizations, and even help us to have fun during class. Then at the same time, Buncee also help us to scalable, but much more individualization. Means that this group of people, they are very good in technologies, they are tech savvy, so we will actually focus more on their talents. But at the same time, another group of people, they are very good in sport, exercise and etc. We will focus more on their exercise, like for example badminton, race, and some more racing, then some more swimming, then and different kind of activities or even sport. Then number 3 will be maybe the other persons that are very good in traveling, very good in physical. So that's why we will focus more on their talent as well, their abilities or their skills. So if we're using Buncee, it's much more easy for us to categorize as scalable, and it's much more individualization. Then at the same time, we're also having Microsoft Educator Center, which is including Buncee course. Yeah, so that's why this is the 3 Buncee course that we have in Microsoft Educator Center. So that's why it's innovations, creative expression, and even welcome to blended personalized learning. So you can just go through, scan the QR code, and you can go through this Microsoft Education Center. Then at the same time, Buncee emotions. So if you are the iOS user, or if you are an Apple user or iPad user, these apps you can download in app stores. Yeah, you can always send your Buncee emoji to your friend. Yeah, so that only iOS and free only for iMessage. Yeah, then for Buncee, this is actually, they have different kind of pricing. So that's why they have free, they have premium, they have classroom, they have school and district. So why not just have a try? Yeah, why not just have a try? You can try to use Buncee and it's free. So after you use, you found that, hey, it's something that very useful and it's good for us to try something new, challenge. Take a new challenge for ourselves to improve our engagement with students or improve our teaching skills. You can try once. Yeah, then it's free. Then coming will be, this is my website and this is my Canva, color hacks and etc. Feel free to just scan and engage with me. And before I pass to Miss Rachel's, that I would like to share a little bit more with you. Demo ticket. Yeah, demo ticket. So that's why I would like to share a little bit with you. For example, this is the Buncee board. So Buncee board means that if one of the educator, he or she create the Buncee board, then you are able to log in, go through according to the share code that they share, then you can actually edit your Buncee in as well. So this is all the Buncee's what we so call canvas that's shared by Sumiko. So that's why I just can click in one, then I can go in details and go through all the Buncees that's shared by this educator. So next will be, you can go through a little bit more. For example, story about Sumiko. So this is also one of the story that I shared last year, and I'm able to win a prize during the competitions. I hope that you faster take some photo and share our Buncee session today, and I hope that you will be the lucky one to join the competitions. No, then after this is what we have. Guess what? Want to know more about me? Yeah, who am I? So hi, I'm Sumiko, and you can call me Miss Cheng Chun Yi as well, and I'm from Duta Buncee Malaysia, KDU Penang University College. And this is something about me. Yeah, so I'm from Malaysia. Then after that, my favorite book is Ikigai. Then after that, I love to read, and my namaste. So welcome. Then and some more, I like to buying book, plants, and etc. And I am also a certificates and badges collector. I love to collect different kind of badges. And thank you to Miss Ada and Mr. Ruben. They will always share a lot of different platforms so that we were able to join and then be one of the ambassadors. And I'm very proud to become one of the ambassador of Buncee ambassadors. Okay, so next will be a little bit more about, I'm a green thinker as well. Then at the same time, I'm the ambassador for Buncee, Wakelet, Microsoft, OneNote, Flipgrid, and etc. Yeah, so this one more about me, so I skip. Then I will go through, this is also one of the way how you create your Buncees. You can create your Buncee by using video. For example, I still remember last year, a lot of people, they love this movie so much. Music time reflections. Actually, I have a music time reflection with students. I want them to do a self-reflection. So a lot of students, they actually tell me, Miss, I know one of the song is from Mulan, this movie. So let's us have a theater, virtual theaters. So that's why we have a virtual theater together. And
முடிச்சா ஒன்றைங்க
yeah, so that's why you can actually play this video as well when you're having a class with your students. Okay, so and at the same time, you can add in the script as well. Like for example, look at me, you may think you see who I really am. Example, yeah. Then after that, for example, if some of the people maybe they feel that, hey, I can't really speak. So if I can't really speak, you can actually click immersive reader. Yeah, once you click the immersive reader, they will going to read it for you. Yeah, they're going to read this for you. Hold on for a second. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. So if you click play, then they were going to read for you. This is immersive reader. I am now in the world where I am. Have to hide my heart and what I believe in. Yeah, so you can just click. Yeah. Okay, so this is how you actually share it with other people. So that's why at the same time you can share the text as well. Yeah, you can share the text as well. So the text, you can adjust the size of the text, and even you can change the font that you like. Even you can change the theme as well. So most of the people, they will prefer dark mode when they read. Yeah, they will prefer dark mode. Then at the same time, you can actually try to check which one is nouns. Yeah, which one is actually verbs. And at the same time, you can check which one is adjective. Yeah, and verb and etc.
ஜூம்ல போட்டானுங்களா அதான் ஜூம்ல வீடியோ போட்டாலே அப்படிதான் இருக்கும்
Can you?
மற்ற வீடியோ அப்படிதான் இருந்துச்சு
Okay, so next we have curiosity exercise. So for a curiosity exercise, you can actually go through the exercise together with students. Yeah, for example, like Sumiko journey or Mr. Ruben journey or Miss Delega journeys and etc. So that's why you can go through this. Then after that, my day, my wish, my mentor, my friend, my wisdom, my rewards and etc. So this is how it looked like. and you can write down the question if you can. Yeah, so this is some of the exercise I actually gave it with to my students. Yeah, actually, I gave it to my student, let my student try, and I want them to pick up the top 10 questions. It's the most important for them. Yeah, so they will need to organize these top 10 questions according to their preference. Yeah, and somehow according to their need as well. And even you can use Buncee as a reflection tools. Yeah, you can use Buncee as a reflection tool. Like for example, reflects during MCO, CMCO, RMCO, what you actually did. Yeah, what you actually did during this period. Yeah, during this period, for example, never stop learning, explore, growing, and even self-development. So that's why you can go through April, May, June, July, August, September, and then October's. How many webinars or how many trainings you actually attend in the past years, in last years. So that's why this is all the trainings webinar that I have attended in last year until November. So I have attended at least 58 and above the webinars that I attend and I join. Then at the same time, I would like to show a little bit more. Like for example, we would like to know more about Penang. Penang is a very beautiful place and they have a lot of different attractions for us to discover. So that's why as a travelers, as a lecturers for tourism and hospitality, then I would like to share a little bit about the tourism attractions that you can go. Yeah, you can go for the first tower, you can go for the freestanding vertical drop slide and etc. So at the same time, we will actually use Buncee to prepare our 60 seconds to your future interview tips. Yeah, this is all the resume template that prepared by my student at the same time by me. So if you want to know more, you can actually scan the QR code, go through the Wakelet collection. Yeah, this actually I use Wakelet to compile all the collections and I put it in our Buncee slide as well. So how to create a creative writings, welcome to UOW, and I'm going to share more, but I can't share you more here. So you might go through and you can scan the QR code and you can know more about this. Yeah, then next will be example, if you want to send a file up to maximum more than 25 MB, most of the time you feel very frustrated. Why email I cannot send out more maximum 25 MB and above? So that's why we actually having solution for this. Stop angry. You can either using Google Drive, Google Shareable link, or you can using WeTransfer. Yeah, WeTransfer, you can share large file up to 2 GB for free. Yeah, so this also one of the way that I share it with my student as well. But for your info, WeTransfer file will be expired after 7 days. Yeah, so that's why you have to take notes. You have to be careful when you are sending. And even you can create a questions, like you can create a feedback in your Buncee slide. Yeah, so that's why this is actually a questions that I create and let my students to fill in. Yeah, then next will be the last one I would like to share today is Merry Christmas. Yeah, so like a lot of people, they would like to send some e-digitals greeting card. So Buncee is one of the platform that you can use to share your digital greeting card to your friend, to your family members, or to the persons that you love. Although now it's not yet Merry Christmas, then I would like to wish you earlier when coming soon will be the Mooncake Festival. Yeah, Mooncake Festival will be around the corner. So thank you. And for your info, you can actually link and somehow compile all your collection in Wakelet as well. And this is the Buncee week 25th to 29 January 2020 that I have attended. I have attended all of the speakers, the Buncee that they share. Then I compile and I keep it in the Buncee collection. Yeah, even you can have collect your badges as well. Then whatever you learn it during that time. Yeah, so thank you for all of these speakers who share wonderful thought, and somehow I did learn a lot during the Buncee weeks. Yeah, at the same time, just last to inform, so Microsoft Educator Center, we did have Buncee course as well. So if you want, you can actually go to look for it, go to Microsoft Educator Center, then you look for Buncee, you will have these 3 courses which related with Buncee. Yeah, so and if not, Mr. Unabi also they having Buncee course as well. So thank you. I would like to pass to our next speaker in I would like to pass to our next speakers. Yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Rachel.
Hi. Thank you, Sumiko, for the wonderful sharing. And then I would like to tell you about our competition. We would like to pick only one winner. So what you must do, you have to take a selfie and share what you have learned in this session. And then you have to share it on Twitter. Tag at Buncee with the hashtag Buncee Malaysia. So you can see all the details on the screen. Next, I would like to invite our next speaker. She is Rachel Danpot, is a Spanish and STEM teacher. She is also an attorney, EdTech consultant, presenter, author, and blogger. She is the president of the ISTE Teacher Education Network and serves on the leadership team for the ISTE Mobile Learning Network. At ISTE Line 19, Rachel received the Making IT Happen Award and a Presidential Gold Award for volunteer service to education. She is a Buncee Ambassador at Modo Certified Trainer, Neopod Pioneer, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, and Google Certified Educator Levels 1 and 2. She is the author of, in other words, quotes that push our thinking, the future is now. Looking back to move away. So here I would like to invite her, Miss Rachel.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Good. Hello, good to be here and learn. I learned so many new ideas already in the time, I would say this morning, but I know it's not the morning for everybody. So I will be sharing about how I've been using Buncee, or how anybody can use Buncee for social emotional learning. So my screen, I don't know if you could there it is. All right. So what I plan to do in the time, and love if you have questions, drop them into the comments in the chat and I'll try to answer them during, if not then later on, or you can connect with me on Twitter. So my contact information is there. It's rdene915. Don't hesitate to send an image, send something you're working on with Buncee, ask questions, connect with me on Twitter, on Instagram. It's great to be able to connect with everybody from all around the world. So what I'll do is I'll take you through a little bit about social emotional learning, show some examples of how I've used Buncee, and then talk about the amazing resources that they have put together with their SEL toolkit. So for anybody who's just getting started, when we look at SEL, social emotional learning, it might seem like there's a lot to worry about and how can we get started with so many other things that we're doing. But Buncee has made it really easy for educators to get started with activities to help students to build, and for ourselves to build, the critical social emotional learning skills in our classrooms. So here we will go and kick it off. And I'll probably skip some of these, but just for anybody who is not familiar, ISTE, which I've been involved with, is the International Society for Technology and Education, and people from all around the world join in this group. There's a conference every year, but as a Spanish teacher, I have language standards, but also as a STEAM teacher and thinking for helping my students to develop the skills they need for the future, I'm also worried about helping them kind of develop in these areas. And with Buncee, if you are trying to address the student standards from ISTE, you can address all of them. And in my Spanish classes, I help students to connect globally, which I'll share with you. They become creative because they can design with Buncee. They are connecting with other students. They're building digital citizenship skills and all of these other standards. So part of what I focus on are these ISTE standards, but a bigger part of what I've been focusing on is SEL. And the reason for that is because SEL, social emotional learning, is directly tied into future skills that students need. So let me go to the next one here. There we go. Okay. So for anybody who is not familiar or you're just becoming familiar, that is okay, because a couple of years ago, somebody had asked me, what I was doing in my classroom to help students build their skills, the SEL skills. And I wasn't entirely familiar with what that was. So I did some research and I learned about social emotional learning. There are 5 competencies. Now, if you want additional information, you should go to casel.org, and that is CASEL.org, if you want to look at some of the research and information. However, Buncee also has tons of information available that direct you to CASEL and to many other things that you can use into your classroom, especially when it comes to Buncee. So don't worry about it if you don't get all of these today, because I'll show you what you can find in those toolkits and how you can get started really quickly. But there are 5 competencies, and those are the 5 on the screen: self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. And these skills are essential for our students, but as adults, it's something that we all need to work on too. And especially in this past more than a year, the past school year, depending on what your school calendar looks like, we have all, whether we're in education or just in our daily lives, been working through a lot of challenges. There's been stress, there's been a lot of emotions. We've had to figure out different ways to build relationships with our students, with other educators, to stay connected. We've had to manage our time and learn some ways to balance. We've also had to figure out areas that we need to work on in our professional lives as educators, but also in our personal lives, whatever we're working on a daily basis, what our goals are. And then making decisions. In this past year, as a teacher, trying to decide what are the best activities or tools, or what should I be doing to help my students get through what has been a challenging year. And so as adults, definitely need to work on it. And we need to model it in our classrooms for our students and provide opportunities for them to work on these skills as well. And so I'll share with you a little bit more detail here about what that looks like. So if we look at self-awareness, students are able to figure out what they are doing well in, areas that they need to work on, and they can set some new goals. They become more confident. As a language teacher, my students are very nervous about speaking in Spanish, about doing presentations in front of their peers in any class. Public speaking is difficult for some, and building that confidence is essential because, as we know, we go through life, we have jobs, we meet people, we have all these interactions, and we have to become comfortable with interacting with others, with speaking, with trying and taking new risks in the work that we do. But we also need to be able to assess where we are in terms of learning and helping our students do that. There are a lot of ways, and Buncee has amazing resources where lots of activities that you can provide for yourself as well as students to kind of track your progress throughout the year, to use some of the features like were mentioned, where recording audio or video and then tracking your progress over time. So that's briefly self-awareness. Then social awareness. Super important that for us, we help students to understand, the lives and the experiences and the perspectives of other people. That in my class as a language teacher, my students need to understand what life is like for students in Spanish-speaking countries and make comparisons of not everybody has the same school experience or family experience. Learning about challenges that people face in their communities locally and on a global scale, and then developing empathy. And so social awareness, again, I use project-based learning with my students, and we've been able to connect with schools in Argentina and Mexico and Spain by using Buncee, by creating an about me, sharing our stories, exchanging those with the other students, and learning about what they were experiencing during this past year. Decision-making is key all the time. We're always making decisions, but helping our students evaluate, 2 options, for example, using Buncee to create a project or presentation or a representation of what they've learned, and deciding what's put into it, and deciding if they're going to take, say, a source from somewhere else, properly citing it. Ethics, it focuses on your well-being. And then self-management is a big one. Stress can be a lot at varying times of the year, especially in this past year, lots of emotions, and using some of the templates, which you'll see here, that are now available in this SEL toolkit, we can help students kind of track through that and be able to check in with our students, for us to check in with our colleagues or whoever, because we have so many options. And then finally, what we hear often in education is the importance of relationships. And so relationship skills, we know, like here, we're building relationships in the chat. We're getting to know one another through the webinar and connecting on social media. And we build these friendships and collaborations with educators, with people from around the world. And so being able to do that is important, but also being able to reach out and ask for help, to communicate our ideas with others. And these are so important because when we look at preparing students for the future, the World Economic Forum talks about like the top skills that employers want, and they are in direct correlation with SEL. So employers want people that are really good with teamwork and problem solving. They develop resilience, for example. They have empathy. They can communicate. And so all of those tie into the SEL, which is why it's so critical that in schools, we provide opportunities for our students and ourselves to continue to work on building these and have different ways to kind of go about and work through them. So that is a very brief overview of what SEL actually is. And then just looking at the options with Buncee, if you've just started to create with it, for all of those SEL skills, there are lots of ways to help students create, to communicate, collaborate, to build relationships. And just a couple of quick examples, if we're looking at, say, self-awareness, and students like mine are building their skills in speaking Spanish, but they are nervous about speaking in front of their classmates. They can make a Buncee, they can add whatever graphics and animations and 3D objects, whatever it is they want to represent who they are. But then if they don't feel comfortable necessarily speaking in front of their classmates at the beginning of the year, they can use the audio. They can record a video. And what I found is that once students record, whether it's audio or video, and then they can do it over again if they don't like how it sounded or how the video looked, but they're comfortable once they create it and it's ready. So then when we're in class, if they don't really feel comfortable speaking in front of their classmates, we can use the Buncee where they are speaking and they are way more comfortable with that. And it helps them to build that confidence. If we look at social awareness, students can create and talk and see one another to learn about who they are, what life is like wherever they live, to exchange ideas, for example. For self-management, it's really good for checking in with students and recording a quick message to find out how students are doing, to ask questions about what they're learning, and then for students to be able to respond, whether with audio or video, or using one of the other many options that are available to express themselves in this. So I always like to share this. This was something that Ida had created, and I added a couple new things to it. But the nice thing is when we're looking at SEL, we have all of these possibilities, one from the toolkits that give you ready to go templates, but also so many ideas that some students are a little bit stressed about using technology and want to draw instead, or would rather talk about something or record themselves speaking about something. And that's what's good about this. They have all those options within Buncee, and they don't have to start from scratch, but it can be something as simple as they want a text title, for example, a video and a drawing and some stickers in the background to represent who they are. Or it can be more extensive. It provides something for everybody that meets their interests and their specific needs, and definitely time that's available. So for me, in my classroom as a Spanish teacher, one of the biggest areas that I work on is helping students to make these global connections and looking at social emotional learning, that social awareness. helping students to understand what life is like for others, to compare it to their own experience, to develop empathy. My students created an About Me, and we created a Buncee board and posted all of their individual, this is who I am, on that Buncee board. And we shared it with students in Argentina and Spain who had never heard of Buncee. And when they received the board and they saw all of these different Buncees, and they could click on it, they could learn about what life is like for a 15-year-old in the United States, what school is like, they could see one another, they could hear one another, but also in terms of the language, being able to use the immersive reader, for example, also is key for my students in learning Spanish, because that helps them to build their confidence, because they can hear a native speaker. They can use the immersive reader, or if something is written and shared from students from wherever around the world, they can still understand it, but they can also develop a greater awareness of the accents of different language speakers, for example, and build their own confidence in speaking, because they can listen to it and then practice with it, even though I'm not there to work with them. So for SEL, that social awareness is great for helping students to create and share their experiences as students. Also, self-awareness, and this is an example of what we had done that I just mentioned, where my students created a Buncee to talk about everyday life. I go to school, I have a job, these are my interests and hobbies, and it's interesting when they see and compare between one another and understand, like, not everybody has activities after school, that some students go to school late in the day, or they live far from school, so they have a long commute, or in some cases they have a 2-hour period for lunch, and my students think, why don't we have a 2-hour period for lunch? But it's great for learning about one another and developing the social awareness, but it also gives students that space to develop their self-awareness as they're writing in Spanish or whatever the language is, and they're applying their skills that they've learned in a more authentic and meaningful way. And they have all of these choices to pull in from the Buncee library that they can make it really meaningful for who they are and share that. So I love seeing what students create. So those are a couple ways so far, but even in terms of relationship building, which is another one of the 5 SEL competencies, being able to build relationships with not only their classmates in the same classroom, but on a global scale by using Buncee to make those connections, it has really made a difference. It's been like a huge impact on my students over the last couple of years. So this is what the Buncee board looked like. My students posted their Buncees, and then the other students ended up creating accounts with Buncee, and then designing their own and sharing them all in the one space. So we could go through and learn about one another. I could learn about them as a teacher. My students could learn about the other teacher. And it was a learning community. So when we're looking like at the big picture, students collaborating, responsible decision-making, because they are creating something that is then shared in this space that other students and the other teacher and myself could see. So it ties in also to digital citizenship, because we want students to build skills in the content area, but we also need to help them to be best prepared for whatever the future is going to bring in terms of technology, but also those skills like the collaboration, communication, the creativity, teamwork, you name it. There are a lot of possibilities with using this. So that is one example. Something else that I know is important to everybody, and definitely for me as a language teacher, I want them to become really good at speaking Spanish, build their confidence. And so looking back again at self-awareness as students create. And in my class, I teach like all levels of Spanish. And so I tend to have some of the same students year after year. And we use Buncee so they can actually go back and see their growth in the language over time. And so looking at goal setting, like verbs or writing sentences in the right order, and seeing how they have built their skills over the school year or over 2 school years. Their confidence, if they're speaking, if they're making videos, if they're sharing these with their classmates or working together on one, It's great for all of those language skills, but it's also helpful for them to build technology skills, which we know are essential. And in this past year, especially for my school not being fully in person, having a space where students could create and exchange and get to know one another made a really big difference. I created something so that I could connect more with my students and help with self-management, because self-management, one of the 5 competencies, is critical because we're dealing with emotions and stress. And when schools closed here in the United States last March, there was a lot of stress, of course, like, how do we keep learning going? How do I connect with my students? How do I help students to feel still feel connected in our classroom when we're not in our classroom? And so tying back into the SEL, looking at, fostering that community, self-management, setting up a space where students knew they could go to, they could get the information, and I could record a video to explain things, to answer any questions. And so if they were experiencing some stress, as we were, they could hear me, they could see me, and it helped with that. It's just, there are so many options that you can create with and so many templates available that was one way to do it. And now, if you haven't heard, recently, it's been a couple of weeks, but Buncee has put together something that every school needs, and that is the SEL toolkits, because there are the 2 groups. So you have K through 6 and grade 7 through 12. And if you notice, if you haven't seen them, they are broken down into those 5 competencies. And so let's say that at the start of the school year, you want to help students build relationships, getting to know one another, you getting to know the students. So then you go to the whichever grade level of students, age group of students you are teaching, and you click on relationship skills and you check out the templates, and you can find a lot of options. Maybe students create an about me or some other icebreaker activity where they get to know one another and they respond to it, but they don't have to take all of the time to create it from scratch. Let's say that you want students to figure out how to deal with stress and to manage their emotions. And sometimes that comes in the form of having a way to set goals, or through a journal, for example. So self-management, and you go to the Buncee Toolkit and you click on the templates, and you can find some to have students as a whole class, or maybe individual students, which I've had as well, track their progress or set goals for themselves, like 5 things that I need to do, or 10 things that I'm going to work on this year. And then that helps because they can track their progress throughout the year. They're also building self-awareness because they're seeing their growth. They're seeing areas that they need to work on. Lots of possibilities with that. And even relationship skills, because as you are working with them, as they're setting the goals and you're having conversations, that is also building and fostering that relationship between students and teachers. And so before I shift to show you what those actually look like, there is my Twitter handle again. If you want to connect, if you're going to create something, I know there's challenges out there to create a Buncee. I would love to see what you create or what ideas you have for some of those. And I can drop that into the chat as well. But what I want to show you first is, if you haven't seen this, if you're looking for new ideas, always go to, well, follow Buncee on Twitter, in the Facebook communities, but also the Buncee blog, because you will find the blogs have been written by teachers in the classroom, by the Buncee team to let you know all of the new features. And so back in June, they have all of these great resources. So, and I will show you these, but the 2 Buncee toolkits. And then also in the Microsoft Educator Center, you can take the course. And Francesca and a good friend of mine, also Laura Steinbrink, co-wrote that course, and it is phenomenal. So if you want to work through some activities in the Microsoft Educator Center, you can do that. CASEL, which is what I said earlier, is the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. And so you click on that link. And this blog also breaks down, similar to what I did, the different competencies. And in this post, you have ways to go through, like, let's say, self-awareness, checking in with students, how are you feeling today? And having it be interactive for them. And they can drag Buncee Man over into the box to choose one of those. Self-management, so setting goals and looking like visualizing steps that they need to go through to achieve something, for example. And we know in school and in life, setting goals are important because we have a lot of work to do. There's different tasks that pop up. So having a space where you can write about it, if it's journaling, if it's a checklist, that's key. Relationships, lots of ways to build relationships. Great ideas for the start of the school year. And then there are additional resources at the bottom. So that's the blog. And then let's take a quick look here before we wrap up. Here is the K-6 toolkit. And so as you look at it, when you have the link, again, if you decide, I want my students to build relationships at the start of the school year. So you simply would click on to see the templates. And then whenever you open the different templates that are available, you can choose one to share with your students, and they can make a copy. They can do, there's lots of possibilities with it. And then there's also the same, let me make sure this opens up here a little bit slower. There's also the same for the older students. And the older students, and I see it's a little bit slow, I teach students that range in age from probably 13 to 18 years of age. And I see there's a slow connection. So give me 1 minute here. I'll try this. Fingers will be crossed. And if not, we can drop the link. There we go. Okay, so here's the older student group, grades 7 through 12. And so again, if I want to build relationships, I will click on to see what's available. And it opens up a Buncee board, and you can see there's 18 different Buncees. So at the start of the year, maybe you want students to interview one of their classmates, and the template is available. So all you need to do is choose it, and then you can work through, and students can answer the questions, and then they can share it on a Buncee board. They can exchange letters. They can write truths about themselves. So that's one example. And then another one that I think is really key as well is the self-management. And so again, looking at setting goals and working through challenges and dealing with stress, you have all of these different possibilities. So self-care is a big topic, especially for educators. What are we doing for self-care and helping students to focus on finding balance as well? So something like this where you create, and we're holding ourselves accountable, but we're also giving students a way to track their own stress and emotions and have fun in creating, which creating with Buncee is always great self-care. And so again, you have these two toolkits that are available broken down into those different age groups, and you don't have to start from scratch. You can search all of the Buncees already available in the library. That is a great option. You can use one of these templates, and I think I froze, but that's okay. There we go. It's back. But you don't have to spend a ton of time. So what I would recommend is read through the blog that I showed and get some ideas to get an understanding of it. And then check out one of these toolkits and focus on one of those areas. So maybe if you're starting the school year, then starting with the relationship skills. Or if you're having your students connect with other students, the social awareness, because you want them to understand others and develop empathy. If it is a time where maybe you're ending a unit, or you want students to do a reflection or kind of set up goals for themselves, like in project-based learning, then there's a couple. It could be decision-making. It could also be self-management, because if it's a big project, you might want to break it down into smaller chunks and portions and work through that. So that's at least the start with SEL. And again, this kit, these toolkits that are available is like the one resource that schools, that teachers need, because you have everything there. You have the blog that has the links to information, research, examples. Then you can go to that Microsoft course that's available. And then you can also just choose from the toolkit. And most importantly, share what it is that you are creating or the ideas that you have that you're using with your students, because that's how we all learn and we can bring more opportunities in for our own students. And so that is all that I have for you today. And I am going to turn it over to Ida. Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Ida Jimenez, and I'm with the Buncee team. But first of all, thank you so much, Rochelle, and also Sumiko. You two are such amazing ambassadors that are doing such insightful work with your students, really with Buncee. So thank you again for sharing everything for our teachers here that are learning today. But that being said, so with all the learning that we've done today, we actually have a giveaway to be able to share with everyone. So I'm going to take a moment and share my screen because there was so much to learn. So let me go ahead and share my screen, but as I share it, you have all been able to learn a lot from Rochelle and Sumiko for today's session. So I really want to be able to encourage you all to share what you're learning from this session with everyone, just so that we can all learn and grow together. So for today's prize, you're actually going to have the opportunity to win a Buncee t-shirt. So in order for you to win, I know that I've already started seeing some of the other posts on Twitter. What we require you to do is just take a selfie of yourself and share something that you've learned from this session, whether it's about collaboration or social emotional learning or any of the 5 different CASEL standards that Rochelle had covered. Please share it with your learning with us on social media, in particular on Twitter, tag Buncee and add the hashtag Buncee Malaysia so that we can announce the winner. And we'll share that winner tomorrow. So you have a few hours to be able to share anything that you've learned. But that being said, today is the second session that we've hosted in this series. So let me go ahead and announce our winner from the last session. So if you are in the audience, it's with Mr. Fauzi. This is the Buncee that Mr. Fauzi had created and shared for our last giveaway in our last series, which was an About Me series, where teachers were encouraged to be able to create Buncees about themselves to share it on Twitter. So I just want to give a little quick showcase of this winning Buncee, and it was so great to get to know you, Mr. Fauzi. So thank you for sharing it with us. We'll be getting connected with him to have him earn his Buncee t-shirt. So again, congratulations, Mr. Fauzi, and I look forward to everyone participating in today's giveaway so that you can earn this new Buncee t-shirt that we have. And with that being said, so that is our giveaway and that was our session. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. So there's 2 last things I want to highlight. And hi, Ms. Delega. But before we close the session, there's 2 last things. One is that we'll be dropping in an attendance form for you to be able to earn your certificate for participating in today's session. So you'll see it down on the screen. It's bit.ly/July Buncee. And as you enter your information into that into the attendance form, you'll receive your certificate as well as your code for participating, which will give you an extended free access to Buncee. So that information will be included. So please be sure to include your information on that attendance form. And so with that, thank you again for tuning in. And let me pass it back to you, Ms. Delega.
Thank you, Miss Ada. Okay, finally we are in the rep. Thank you, Miss Ada. Finally, we are ending of this event. Okay, I would like to thank our speakers, Madam Rochelle, Miss Sumiko, and Miss Ada for the great and wonderful sharing about Buncee. And then don't forget about our attendance. So you can have a look on our screen. So the code is there. So please key in your IC number, your name in our Borang Kehadiran, and then you will receive the certificates in 5 working days. And then don't forget to join our competition. So we will like to find only one winner, and don't forget to share your findings, your selfie, everything. So good night and have a nice day. Bye.